When Officer Laura Bennett hugged her son goodbye on that chilly October morning in 1987, she couldn't have known it would be their final moment together. For nearly 2 decades, her family battled a system that seemed to erase her existence. Another missing person case shelved, another family left in the dark. But what the authorities ignored, a construction crew would uncover beneath layers of asphalt and time. Why did the investigation stall so swiftly? What secrets did the department conceal? And what was hidden beneath that bridge that would unravel everything? Today, we reveal the truth they tried to bury. Laura Bennett was more than a badge number. She was a devoted police officer in the town of Crestwood, known for her commitment to justice, and a caring single mother who always made time to read bedtime stories to her 10-year-old son, Ethan. In 1987, life was simpler. Landlines were the norm, computers were scarce, and missing person cases often faded due to limited technology. Laura's routine revolved around her patrol shifts and her son. She was punctual, reliable, and respected by her colleagues in the Crestwood Police Department. Neighbors admired how she juggled her demanding job with raising Ethan in their cozy duplex on Maple Street, a sanctuary she created for them both. Each morning, she'd prepare Ethan's breakfast, pack his school bag, and drop him off before heading to the station. But something was off that Tuesday morning in October 1987. Laura began her shift as usual, patrolling the north side of Crestwood, an area she knew like the back of her hand. Her sergeant assigned her routine tasks: a noise complaint, a shoplifting report at a local store, and a few traffic stops. At 1:30 p.m., she stopped at a coffee shop, chatting briefly with the barista about Ethan's upcoming science fair project. Her last radio check-in came at 4:15 p.m., responding to a call about a suspicious vehicle near an industrial park. It seemed routine, nothing to warrant concern. Unbeknownst to her, someone was tracking her every move. Laura's shift ended at 5 p.m., and Ethan expected her home by 5:30. He waited eagerly to show her his science fair poster. By 6 p.m., he grew anxious, peering out the window. Laura was never late without calling, especially when it came to Ethan. He phoned his grandfather, who sensed trouble immediately. Laura's father contacted her partner, who confirmed she'd left the station on time. The family checked hospitals, fearing an accident. Friends and neighbors scoured Crestwood, searching for her patrol car. By midnight, dread settled in. Something was terribly wrong. The missing person report was filed the next day, but the response was disheartening. Laura's father had to fight to get the police to take it seriously. Some officers suggested she might have needed a break from her duties as a single mother, a notion that enraged her family, who knew her devotion to Ethan. The initial search was lackluster, with minimal effort from the department. Her family took matters into their own hands, organizing search parties, distributing flyers, and offering a small reward from their savings. The critical first 24 hours slipped away, lost to bureaucratic inertia. Typically, a missing officer prompts a full-scale response: press conferences, federal involvement, and community support. But Laura's case was different. No press conferences were held. The FBI wasn't called, despite her status as a law enforcement officer. Her colleagues seemed oddly detached, some avoiding her family's calls. The police union, expected to rally for her, stayed silent. This lack of urgency baffled and hurt Laura's family, who couldn't fathom why her department wasn't doing more. Community volunteers stepped up, searching parks, alleys, and fields within a 15-mile radius of Crestwood. Local businesses provided supplies, and radio stations aired pleas for information. Despite their dedication, the volunteers lacked the expertise and equipment of professional search teams. 3 days later, Laura's patrol car was found abandoned in a vacant lot near an old factory, 10 miles from her last known location. The car was locked, with no visible damage. Her keys, service weapon, and logbook were missing, and her radio was off. Her purse was inside, but her ID was gone. The lot was a known hotspot for petty crime, suggesting the location was chosen deliberately. Oddly, the driver's seat was adjusted for someone shorter than Laura, and a strange residue was found on the steering wheel. The evidence raised more questions than answers. Unidentified fingerprints were found in the car, and its mileage suggested it had been driven beyond Laura's patrol route. Her flashlight was in the trunk, not its usual spot, and her citation book was missing pages. A half-empty thermos of tea sat in the cup holder, hinting at a sudden departure. These discrepancies should have driven the investigation, but progress stalled. The case was mishandled from the start. Evidence was processed late, witnesses were ignored, and phone records were never fully analyzed. It wasn't just incompetence, it felt like sabotage. Weeks turned into months, and Laura's family grew desperate. Ethan struggled to understand why his mother wasn't coming home. His grandfather became his primary caregiver, juggling grief and search efforts. They appeared on local news, holding up Laura's photo, begging for tips. The community rallied briefly, flyers blanketed Crestwood, and a reward fund grew, but media attention faded. False leads, like a sighting at a train station or a vague tip about a warehouse, crushed their hopes repeatedly. Behind the scenes, the department faced budget cuts and internal scandals, diverting resources from Laura's case. Political pressures prioritized high-profile crimes, and her disappearance slipped through the cracks. After 8 months, Laura's case was labeled cold, assigned to an overworked detective with a stack of unsolved files. Her family felt abandoned, but they never gave up. Ethan's grandfather hired private investigators, though their funds ran dry quickly. Strange phone calls warning them to stop searching added to their anguish. Meanwhile, Laura had been investigating something dangerous: corruption within her own department. She'd noticed patterns, dropped charges, missing evidence, and officers living beyond their means. She'd kept detailed notes, which vanished after her disappearance. Laura had confided in a friend about feeling watched, changing her routes, and carrying her off-duty weapon. She'd stumbled onto a network of officers protecting local smugglers, and her questions made her a threat. Years later, Ethan, now an adult, took up his mother's cause. Studying law enforcement, he learned to navigate the system, filing requests for records and keeping Laura's case alive through advocacy. A retired journalist, Tom Harper, who'd covered her disappearance, also returned to the story. His Freedom of Information requests uncovered tampered files and missing reports. A whistleblower, a former officer, came forward in 2004, revealing he'd overheard orders to limit the investigation. He'd seen evidence removed and officers threatened into silence. This broke the case open. A new investigative team, untainted by the original cover-up, was assigned. They found financial trails, suspicious deposits in officers' accounts, and re-examined evidence with modern forensics. DNA from Laura's car matched a former officer, and fibers linked to a suspect's vehicle. Informants, previously ignored, confirmed Laura was killed for nearing the truth about police corruption. In 2005, construction on a Crestwood bridge uncovered human remains. Dental records and a badge confirmed it was Laura. Her service weapon and a notebook detailing her corruption findings were found, preserved in a sealed container. Ballistics showed she was shot with her own gun, and defensive wounds indicated a struggle. The investigation pinpointed a former officer, Michael Reed, as the killer. He'd been part of the smuggling ring Laura was exposing. Arrested in 2006, Reed confessed under pressure, detailing how he lured Laura to a meeting under the pretense of sharing information. The trial exposed a web of corruption involving multiple officers and supervisors. Reed was convicted of first-degree murder, and others faced charges for obstruction. Laura's case led to reforms, new oversight for internal investigations, mandatory rotations for internal affairs, and a cold case unit named the Bennett Protocols. Ethan established a foundation in Laura's name, supporting families of missing officers and advocating for transparency. The bridge where her remains were found was renamed the Laura Bennett Memorial Bridge, a tribute to her sacrifice. Her case became a cornerstone in police training, a reminder of the cost of corruption and the power of persistence. Though justice was delayed, Laura's legacy endures, inspiring reform and giving hope to families seeking answers in unsolved cases.